If you remember that intro when you was a kid, you are awesome. Hey everybody, it's Andrew here for Media World. So before I watch The Amazing Spider-Man next week at cinemas, I want to get my opinions on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man Trilogy. I'm going to be reviewing all three movies in the same kind of style as my Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and Alien Trilogy reviews. It won't be as detailed as much, but I'm going to do my absolute best as always. It's most likely going to be quite a long video. There's a couple of things to address, and I'm also going to be doing reviews on all three of the DVDs. I don't have the Blu-rays unfortunately, but there is some different editions and special features that I do want to talk about, so again, a bit of an accurate review. Okay, so let's talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man was first released in 2002, back when the superhero genre was still feeling the friction burn from Batman and Robin and the Phantom.
You are not sending me to the cool.
James Cameron originally wanted to do a Spider-Man movie 2 years before Sam Raimi, but couldn't get the rights to the project. Imagine James Cameron doing a Spider-Man movie. Wow. Columbia Pictures decided to go with Sam Raimi to direct the first Spider-Man movie, and with an amazing huge cast of old actors and fresh actors, this movie brought back the superhero genre back to a more modern audience. Oh, in case you don't know who Sam Raimi is, here's a quick sum up. And if you're wondering why a horror director is doing a children's comic book version of Spider-Man, then I'm guessing someone was hoping for scenes like this. Okay, so the story is actually very, very simple. Peter Parker, an ordinary person, shy, nerdy, stereotype high school person, is bitten by a modified spider. He later realizes that he has grown physically in strength. He has abilities like, shooting webs for his arms. He can climb walls, he can jump to extraordinary heights. And, that kind of changes throughout the entire movie, for his character and, physical changes and how he sees his abilities and how he kind of reacts with them. And the first time he has his abilities, he goes to a cage match and he tries to win some money so he can buy a car to impress his high school sweetheart, Mary Jane Watson, played by Kirsten Dunst, I think that's her name is. And that typical kind of love interest, whatever. It is a very simple black and white good versus evil type thing. We got Willem Dafoe's character. He is he owns Oscorp Industries. He's a military weapons and super soldier programs type stuff. He's trying to modify this super soldier gas kind of thing, and he's so sure this is going to work. He does it on himself, and as it does, it goes wrong in a very stereotypical fashion. He kills the science guy, and what happens? He forms a split personality, like this kind of Green Goblin, this kind of other side of him takes over, a different side of him, and it's that kind of typical kind of good versus evil. Peter Parker is the hero of the movie, we're rooting for him, and Willem Dafoe is the baddie. But there is, even though it is black and white, the storyline, the characters themselves are kind of three-dimensional. They're not, typical I'm baddie, end of stuff kind of thing. There is a little bit of differences in some of the characters. Okay, so Sam Raimi is in this comic book movie, of course. Now, this is interesting considering he's a known horror director for doing the Evil Dead trilogy. It's just what the heck? It's very unusual to hear a horror director to do a kind of children's kind of comic book adaptation of Spider-Man. But I think he did a fantastic job, especially at the time, 2002. The superhero genre wasn't doing particularly well. There wasn't many superhero movies out there. He rebrought this genre back, and it led to other movies out there, deciding, hey, if this guy can do it, so can we, kind of thing. And, it was a big success at the box office, of course. So everybody did a fantastic job in, especially the camera work, the camera throughout the movie is absolutely fantastic. Especially when he's Peter Parker's got his like early kind of outfit on. You know, he's like the special effects. At the time are generally quite impressive. It still look pretty good today. Still a little noticeable in some areas, but still generally quite good. He's done well making the characters a bit more three-dimensional. They've got personalities. Even though there is a couple of cheesy lines from the dialogue now and again, you know, there's a couple of things that like, oh, why do you have to say that seriously? And you know, and some of the music is a bit cheesy and corny, but you know, it's that kind of typical, you know, I'm the good guy, you're the love interest type thing. One scene that kind of, you know, makes me cringe just a little bit, I don't know why to be honest, is the scene where he kind of saves Mary Jane, I think, from the Green Goblin attack. You know, they're swinging and you get this like kind of sunset kind of thing, and everyone's going, oh my god, and then you get this like really cheesy music, and you know, he drops her off, and you know, find your neighborhood Spider-Man. It's like, but that's just personal opinion, to be honest. You know, that's just a little cheesy line. But aside from that, the movie is done really, really well, and it tells a good origin story of Peter Parker. It gets quite to it quite fast, to be honest. You get to know a bit about him. The narration at the start of the movie, again, it's a little cheesy, but you know, I can live with it, to be honest. It's quite good. Tom McGraw plays Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Fantastic choice. I think he was really, really good. Looking back on it now, he's still, to be honest, pretty good. He's a bit more older than, say, Andrew Garfield's version of the Amazing Spider-Man, so it's quite interesting to see what he does. At this time, he's a college student. He's learning, you know, all these, I think, quantum sciences and all that stuff. You know, he's a student, and again, just one time and place. He's been by a spider, and you know. And of course, his grandparents, they kind of teach him, especially his granddad. He tells him like great power comes great responsibility, and you know, it stays true to the comics in that sense because you know he kind of inspires. But one thing that is interesting that I did quite like about the movie, one of my favourite scenes is when he gets shot and he's kind of bleeding over. It's kind of emotional scene, it's quite sad, and he's like, you know, he passes away there and then, and Peter Parker, he goes bloody nuts. He's like, oh, and he goes after that Robbie. He knows who he is. He just saw him, you know, take over his car, and he goes swinging. He goes out, and you know, I love the scene where he's in that building, and he's kind of like sitting down. He's like, you know, swinging down like a spider, using the shadows. It's very kind of Batman kind of. Where are you? You know, it's that kind of thing, and he doesn't kill him, but he accidentally trips out the window, kind of thing, out the window, and yeah, it's one of my favourite scenes because it gets very dark. It's one of his vulnerable moments. I thought that was a very good scene to show, like, shit, this guy's gone through some serious crap. He's got these abilities, and he blames himself anyway because he let the guy go because of his own pettiness, you know. And it's quite like, Jesus, man, what have I done, kind of thing. And I like that. It was done. Some of the scenes were done really, really well. Green Goblin's character, Willem Dafoe, I thought he was a great choice. Willem Dafoe's a great actor anyway, and to see him play Green Goblin was quite fun. I imagine he had fun playing the character. You can see that for the entire movie. A bit overacting, especially in that mirror when he's like dancing around with his glass and stuff. And him as Green Goblin also, I think, was really fantastic, and you can definitely tell he had fun with it. I mean, the suit, the costume design of the suit was really fantastic. You know, out am I? You know, and again, one of my favourite scenes when Green Goblin kind of offers him like an offer. You know, come and join me. We'll have some fun. The city can be ours, kind of thing. And he goes like he goes, "You're out, Goblin, out of your mind." It's like, you know, wrong answer. Yeah, there's so many quotes that I can do, and I remember watching this when I was a kid, very, very young, and I love this movie. This was one of my favourite movies when I was a kid, and you know, I can imagine it would be. I mean, 2002, not many superhero movies at the time, so you know, you can, and I think a lot of people do grow up with this movie. So I think it was well done. The acting I thought was really fantastic. Also, there's a lot of actors which like Kirsten Dunst and James Franco, I think his name is. I can't say his name properly. You know, very young actors. You know, just getting some roles. They're pretty good. Also, they did a good role, and you know, but there is some kind of there is. Watching it again, there is a lot of cheesy elements which kind of like, just like made me cringe, and I don't know if anyone else can get that kind of impression also. Yeah, the CGI I thought was quite good also, and there is a lot of great scenes, and it's done well as a really movie. The ending climax of the movie also I thought was really fucking impressive and really dark as well. For a 12, it is a 12 for a good reason. Considering it is done by a horror director, he's done the creepiness and the actual really wow scenes, really well kind of thing. And some of the scenes are wow, they really stick with you. I mean, especially the last scene where he's kind of like beating the shit into each other kind of thing. He's like half of his mask is gone, and there's I offered you friendship, you spat in my face. I love that, and the glider and all that stuff. It works really well, and he's done a really fantastic job in making Spider-Man, the first one at least anyway, a really well movie. But for me, it does lack with cheesiness and corniness music, and there is a couple of things that about it. So yeah, let's talk about the DVD for a second. Yeah, I have a special edition Region 2 DVD. Probably look different from in other countries. This is kind of standard, to be honest. I can get this anywhere. I can get this for £1 if I wanted to. The extras are pretty decent, in all fairness. You get a lot of extras, Easter eggs. You get like screen tests, trailers, documentaries, the making of Spider-Man, the costume designs, everything you want to know about Spider-Man 1. Very, very good. I've had this DVD for years. This is one of my first kind of major DVDs to my collection. So yeah, I'm happy to have it. Show some of the artwork there. There you go. I haven't got the Blu-rays yet, mainly because I don't know if it's going to be worth it, to be honest, and it lacks with extras as well. The ones that have been released, they haven't got all the extras on these DVD formats, so what's the point, kind of thing. So yeah, so that's Spider-Man 1. 2 years after the box office smash, Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire returned with Spider-Man 2 with a much deeper storyline and a whole new villain for the web sling to battle makes this sequel one to remember. And Spider-Man 2 is my absolute personal favourite of all three movies. It has a deeper story between Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It has an even stronger villain, amazing soundtrack, and the direction work and the characters I thought were even better and fantastic than they were before. Spider-Man 2 ticks all the boxes for me. When I went to watch it at the cinemas, I loved it, I was engaged. This is the sequel that I really, really wanted, and it delivered such a fantastic way. So the storyline of Spider-Man 2 is actually really, really clever. It's a very Batman-esque type of a storyline mixing between who are you type of thing, personality, identity type stuff. I really like that. I like this kind of psychological things within movies, especially superhero movies, especially. Now, Peter Parker's character, he's a bit of an established character now as Spider-Man. He is known in New York, as a person who stops crime, and he's a superhero. People look up to him, kind of thing, and he's battling between his personal life and he's obviously Spider-Man. And there's some really fantastic scenes which show that. The opening, as I remember, he's kind of on a bike, he's a pizza delivery guy, and he's always late. And what he has to do, he has to battle the clock to get all these pizzas within 13 minutes. And instead of using his bike, which he's like tries to use, but ends up in traffic, he decides to go, screw it, I'll go swing around the city with a lot of pizzas around my back, throw them off left, right and centre, and at the same time stopping crime or saving a bunch of kids from crossing the road. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The elevator scene where he's dressed as Spider-Man coming down the elevator, and there's a guy just going, how you doing, kind of thing. Love it. It's that kind of dry humour, that kind of quick, snappy humour that I really love and I really appreciate within especially with superhero movies. It's nice not taken too seriously, and that's what I think the first one does. It had some good comedy elements to it, but it was done a very black and white, good versus evil type of serious manner, realistic tone. This movie said, okay, we've got what these characters are, we've established who they are now. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's keep it serious, but at the same time, just let it loose with it a little bit. It is a little bit funny to see Spider-Man, a person dressed up as a spider, on an elevator, and I like that. The comedy and the serious issues work beautifully well, and I was laughing throughout the entire movie. And the main villain for this one is Dr. Octopus. Fantastic villain. To be honest, one thing to go about his character is he's not really a villain. He's a victim, and he wants to do something so positive. He wants to give clean energy for the world. He wants to give unlimited energy, and it goes wrong. Of course, he designs these kind of tentacles, so he can monitor this kind of operate machine. And it goes wrong, of course, and he starts to lose his mind a little bit, and he wants to recreate it because he was working for a sec, but he went massively wrong, and he wants to do it again on a bigger scale. And he's a little bit out of his mind, but he comes to senses later on. his character is absolutely fantastic. You know, he's a real likable character, and he's a likable villain also. He's really cool and a fantastic match for Spider-Man. You know, it's just their action scenes together, their fight scenes are fantastic. The bank robbery scene, that was really great. That was funny also when Aunt May's character kind of slaps the guy's hand when he's like picking up on the gold coins. I thought that was really funny. The fight scene where they're on top of the buildings and they're kind of like, you know, battling each other. The train scene I thought was really fantastic also, and the villain was done beautifully well. Peter Parker is like Spider-Man's character, very, very interesting. Again, like I said, he's mixing his personal life with his kind of crime life, and he realizes that I can't do both. And what one of the great scenes is like when he's like swinging along, and all of a sudden he's got no web left. He crashes down, you know, in a back alley type stuff, and he's like, "What the heck is going on?" And he's like, he has to choose which he wants to be. He has to be Peter Parker or Spider-Man, and he doesn't know which one to pick. And within a dream sequence, he sees his uncle again, kind of thing, and he, you know, he wants to be Peter Parker because he's falling behind in his studies. You know, the first, like, you know, half of the movie focuses him like, you know, he's failing in a lot of his studies. He's losing his job. He's not making his promises anymore, and you know, he's sacrificing a lot to be Spider-Man. And eventually he decides, you know what, I want to be Peter Parker, and he gives up the Spider-Man suit and he gets on with his life, and things start to go better for him. Of course, you know, he's back over his subjects. He's, you know, he wants to, you know, see Mary Jane because she's getting married again, and there's a lot of great things about this movie I really, really enjoyed. Kind of cross between those two characters, and he has to make a decision who he wants to be, and it's like, it's again, it's that identity and of who you want to be. I really like that within the Spider-Man movie.
In your seatbelts.
Special effects were marvelous. I thought the visual scenes were fantastic. You know, kind of wallpaper desktop type look, amazing stuff. I thought the script and the dialogue was well written. Comedy scenes worked well. The realistic scenes, the drama scenes worked well. The action scenes were beautiful to watch, really engaging, very interesting. I thought each scene was worth the time and effort to watch. I think the movie, from start to finish, each scene added something into the overall movie, or they linked back to something, or a gag or something. It just worked really, really well, and it showed all these characters in so many different lights and scenes and ways. I thought it was really fantastic, and I love there's a lot of foreshadowing in this movie also. You got Dr. Connor's character, who in the comics plays Lizard. You can see he's got no arm, but of course they didn't get a chance to use him. Of course, with the Amazing Spider-Man they do, and that's going to be interesting to see. You got the astronaut, which in the original comics he had a big part within Venom's character. And yeah, it's just done really, really well. I thought the acting was even better than before. Tobey Maguire, I think he really showed the character a bit more, even better than he did in Spider-Man 1. In Spider-Man 1, he was like learning to use his abilities for good and all that stuff, and great power comes with responsibility. In this one, he made a choice between Spider-Man and being Peter Parker, and I like it cross between. And James Franco, I can't say his name properly. His character was even better than before. Taking over Oscorp Industries after the death of his father. His character and his foreshadowing I thought was fantastic. The ending scene where he realizes who is Spider-Man, he realizes his best friend Peter Parker, and how he reacts to that I thought was a fantastic, really amazing. And you know, I love the scene close to the end where he just sees his father, you know, goes like, "You avenge me," you know, in the shadows, and you get that hint for him to become a hot goblin or something along those lines. And I love that kind of, you know, that kind of like wink into the next movie type thing. I really appreciate that. I really love that scene. The music soundtrack I thought was fantastic, and the way they did the sound effects were amazing during those scenes. The colours I thought were fantastic also. It just looks visually fantastic, you know, can't stress it enough. So yeah, that's what I think about the movie. I think the movie was done amazingly well as a sequel. Set the bar really, really high, and you know, so forth. And now I do have the DVD, of course. I have both versions. I have the theatrical and the 2.1 edition of Spider-Man. Now, I prefer the 2.1 extended version for a lot of different reasons. I think it just makes the movie better overall. The fight scenes are extended. Basically, it's 8 minutes extra footage edited by Sam Raimi himself. So he's looked at this movie and thought, and re-added those scenes which he originally intended to put back in. The fight scene on the train was longer. There's more character development. Peter's birthday. There's so many great little scenes added in. There's a bit more comedy elements to it. There's a bit more scenes that make sense later on. Overall, it's a better movie. 2.1 editions. If you haven't seen 2.1, I would definitely recommend it. It's better than the theatrical version, in my opinion. I don't really watch the theatrical version anymore. The extras I thought are really fantastic. Well, for the 2.1 edition, you get a load of extras saying there's a fantastic extra telling his side of the story, like why he decided to put these extra scenes back in. It's really fantastic between like the differences, which he's taken a couple of scenes out and put new scenes back in, and you can see which ones he's added in and why he's added them in and why he thinks in such a different way. Really fantastic. That's an inside documentary there. You get villain features, you get like multiple angles, score. As you see if you've watched my collection video, you know I've done like a 4-disc box set. So I have the Spider-Man 1 theatrical version and the bonus disc, and I have the 2.1 movie and the bonus disc for that. So all the extras and all the different versions of Spider-Man. So, and one of the annoying things is that you don't get this on Blu-ray. The 2.1 edition is not available on Blu-ray anywhere, so that's very disappointing. And you don't get all the extras as well, even on the standard Blu-ray theatrical version. So that's very disappointing because I like the 2.1 edition. So, you know, I would definitely recommend the 2.1 edition more if you haven't seen it. It's definitely worth the money, and you know, it's just a better film overall. So Spider-Man 2 is my personal favourite of the trilogy. So yeah, that's my opinion on Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 did even better at the box office, so another sequel was obviously coming our way. So the director Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire decided to do one more final movie to end this trilogy, to do something absolutely amazing, to tie up all loose ends, something amazing that fans will remember for a very long time. I'm still waiting for that. Spider-Man 3 goes on in history for what could have been. I mean, what happened with this movie, seriously? You got Venom, one of the best comic book villains ever. One of my personal top 10 villains. You got Sandman, absolutely fantastic. You got the new Goblin, fantastic. You got Spider-Man being an absolute jackass in this movie. He wears the black suit, iconic, and especially within the comic books, fantastic. I mean, you got a great cast in this movie. It's the final one. You got all these villains. You got this last movie, this build-up, and what do we get? An overrushed, overthrown project which is not satisfying, and it feels like it could have been so much more.
Parker.
The problem I have about this movie, and I think a lot of people will agree upon this, is the fact that it is really, really rushed. You got all these villains, all these different ideas and things just thrown into a pot and mixed around, and it just does not work. Now, the thing is that Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire said this is going to be the last movie. They don't want to do after more of this. It's going to be the final one. And he just basically just went, oh, okay, well, what can I do? Just throw everything that he could in. Everything that he wanted to do, all the villains that he wanted to do previously, he just threw them all in this one last movie. And it's a shame that he did that. It's just, there's a lot of bad things about this movie. There is some good things also, which I'm going to say, it's not all doom and gloom completely. There is some good things I like about it, but there's a lot of bad things. I think so much could be better, so much. Man, okay, Venom, one of my favourite villains. They screwed up his character big time. In the comics, he was originally meant to come from that kind of space program. Now, the character within the Spider-Man 2, the astronaut, which Mary Jane was meant to marry, he was meant to go into space. The black substance was meant to latch onto him. He was meant to be some sort of host or some sort of like a vehicle that this substance can use until he found like a substitute kind of person. And when he found Spider-Man, and he basically latched onto this kind of embryo, kind of black substance, latched onto him, and he became like this kind of black suited Spider-Man. But the thing is, in the comics, that he didn't know that he was a black suited Spider-Man. He became a jackass. He became a bit more angry, a bit more aggressive throughout the entire movie. well, for the comics at least. And he didn't know that he had the suit on until he realised that shit. What the heck is this? I mean, he realises that the actual substance, this black embryo, kind of tricks him, and he doesn't realise until later on, until he gets rid of it and destroys it. But in the movie, it goes about so casually. It goes into his TIE body. He gets back. He's exhausted. He's in the bed. The thing goes completely covers his body. It's in complete suit. It covers his face, and he's like that swinging left, right, and centre. And he jumps into this post, and he goes, "Cool, yeah." I was like, "What the heck was that?" I was like, "No, you got a black suit substance on you. You wake up, find yourself swinging from left, right, and centre, and you're saying cool." My action was like, "What the fuck has this just happened to me?" It's just weird. Oh man, I don't like it. Like, Sandman's character, way underdeveloped, and too many emotions just thrown in. The actor I thought was actually pretty good, in all fairness. The character, the Spider-Man Sandman character in the comics, was actually pretty good, in all fairness. But the way it's just done about it is too casual. It's like they link it to the first movie. He was part of the robbers that killed his uncle, and they find out later on in the movie that he was part of the team, whatever, partnership. Which, to be honest, they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do it. Okay, fine. It makes sense they would be a partner. I can buy it, but they didn't need to do that. That's just making it personal for Parker, and it gives him a reason to go after him, and especially when he gets the black suit, he makes it more personal. He wants to kill him, kind of thing. And Flint Marko's character, he is like a person. He is a bit more three-dimensional, and he's just doing it for his family. He becomes this kind of Sandman person, and he wants to make money and to provide for his family and daughter. But the emotional scenes just doesn't do anything for me. He sneaks back into his apartment, and he sees his girl, and those scenes between those two don't not work. The chemistry is badly done. That's just my opinion. For me, I felt it was forced. It didn't feel original. It didn't feel like they actually did love each other, and it didn't feel like they knew each other. To fuck's sake, it looks like they just came on set, okay, do some sad lines to this little girl, and then go out. For me, it just did not work. The second one worked well. The first one worked well, the emotional scenes, because it felt real. It just looked like they knew each other, kind of thing, but it did not work for me. It felt rushed. It felt just kind of thrown in, and it was underused, kind of thing. It was underused character development. His character, it was a brief character development, gives him the motive to go out and do what he does. Okay, now Eddie Brooks' character. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about super fast here. Eddie Brooks' character, he was okay, I suppose. Ordinary, fresh off the block, kind of thing. He wants to, show Spider-Man as a guy, show he wants to become this kind of big guy, this kind of big shot, photographer type stuff, and he has to find Spider-Man catching the act, robbering, and he kind of fakes it, using fake photos and stuff. And Peter Parker, later on in the movie, exposes him for who he is, and he gets fired, and Jameson says, like, you're never going to work in the city again. I'll make sure you know, because you can sell fake photos and it doesn't look good on a resume. And what does he do? Okay, he goes to a church, he cries on his knees, and he goes, "Please God, please kill Peter Parker." I think you're talking to the wrong guy.
I am complete.
And even when Eddie Brooks' character is Venom, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like a match for his character. There's a scene where Venom and Sandman kind of talk to each other, and it's just like, it's done so casually well. It's like he basically picks up Venom by the throat, throws him on the ground, and he realizes, oh, well, you're not Spider-Man. Okay, I'm going to keep walking. And he goes, oh, wait, you can join me and take down Spider-Man. It's like, what the heck was that? He just randomly picked a gun. I would have expected just a brief little scene of Sandman tracking down Spider-Man, thinking he's got him. He basically waves into him, just like this cool little mini battle sequence. Venom stops him, holds him down, kind of thing, and offers him a choice, because he's basically forcing him. That would have been intimidating. That would have been scary to do. But no, they just do it casually and stupidly. And God's sake, he takes off the fucking mask constantly all the goddamn time. Venom's face is iconic. It's like a really beastly type, nasty kind of looking Spider-Man type look face. And for God's sake, he constantly pulls away every 5 fucking seconds. And it's like, oh my God, just keep it. God. Once you have a mask on, keep it on. Do not constantly keep it back and forth, back and forth. Look at Iron Man. Once he has that mask on, that Iron Mask on, it looks awesome, looks immense, looks fantastic, and you don't see it take it off again until he gets out of the actual armory suit. And that's what they should have done there. It's constantly, he's got the suit on, back and forth, back and forth. Even the climax finale, it's back and forth, and it's bloody fucking annoying for me. Anyway, at least. For me, they messed up Venom's character big time, and it's a real shame because he's a really great character. I think they should have focused mainly on Spider-Man versus Venom, and maybe appearance from the New Goblin. That could have been a really good movie, really fantastic movie. You know, him, good portion of the hour. He's in the black suit, he's acting weird and more douchey, and there's some really full-out fight scenes. And there's not really a lot of epic fight scenes on this entire movie. Compare it to Octopus and Green Goblin's fight scenes, climactic fight scenes. There's not really, to be honest, that much. Yeah, sure, Sandman and Venom team up a little bit, but there's just so many corny moments. There's just a lot of things about it that I don't really like. But despite that, I do like seeing Venom on screen. That's probably one of the reasons why I got the movie, in all fairness. Even though they messed up Venom's character big time, it is the only time I'm going to see Venom on a big screen. For now, anyway. Every time I see him on screen, I think they could have done so much better, but I like his presence. I like the look of the character. It just looks fantastic. It's fantastic to see him on screen. That's just weird about me, I know, but that's just my opinion upon it. One of the things I thought I didn't like was the scene where Peter's asking for his aunt's permission to marry MJ, and he just goes on for like 5 minutes about this really shitty, boring story. And there's just a lot of scenes which just drag. They feel worthless. You don't feel like worth watching. There's a lot of things about it which I don't really like, and it is cheesy as hell. The ending, oh my god, those kids at the end are like, oh, awesome, cool, kind of things. Again, I'm cringing again. Like, I don't know if you get that or not, but in the first one again, I'm cringing every time those corny scenes in. There's a scene where fucking Spider-Man comes and swings in, and he slowly motion goes and thanks to the flag. That is corny. That is cheesy. They should not have done that. I just don't like it. I really don't. Okay, I'm bitching and moaning, yes I know, I'm ranting, but this could have been so much better. The directing work, despite the bad stuff, was okay. It could have been so much better. I think, again, some of the character development was rushed. Again, with the acting was good, I thought. Spider-Man himself, Peter Parker, Tom McGrath's character, I thought was actually pretty good, to be honest. He did play, in the first one, played him getting used to power. Second one, between his personal life and Spider-Man. This one, he's an established character. He's managed to find a nice balance between his personal life and his Spider-Man life, and he's managed to cover it one and two kind of thing. And let's just see his character change with the movie. He's actually generally quite good and actually quite funny, to be honest. When he was walking down the street and he's going like, all this and this, really cool, kind of, suave. I thought that was quite funny, to be honest. And him as a douchebag, kind of Spider-Man, I thought was actually fine. Okay, I can buy that. He's a douche and we can hate him and like him, but I think he played it well. And I think he had fun doing it. So I can buy that. I can live with that. I thought his acting was actually pretty good in it, the movie. Kirsten Dunst's character, I thought her character was pretty good. She was good acting in this movie. James's character was good. Like the New Goblin, I thought his villain character was fantastic. The fight scene I thought was really, really fantastic. Was Peter Parker's on the bike at his moped, and he comes and swoops in, gets him, and there's a really cool fight scene, like in the air, and it goes on for a good while, and it looks really well. The sequence is fantastic, and he's ready to kill him. There's no negotiation. There's no like, I'm gonna let's talk this out. He has literally picked him up, about to bloody kill him with one of his like weapons and stuff. And it works really, really well. I like it. But one thing they did do, which I don't like. There's this really great fight scene, really clash sign, and what happens? He goes in the coma. He has amnesia. What they should have done is had a fight scene in the sky, kind of thing, like they did. They could have gone crashed down in the ground, fist fight scenes, no powers, kind of thing, just a full-on friend fight scene. And basically, what would happen? They're both knocked out, they're both beaten, kind of thing. He goes off in his glider, he swings off, and they live to fight another day, kind of thing. And he goes back to his kind of mansion. He prepares again for the next battle. That's what they should have done. They should have had a really, they should have had something along those lines. One of the things I also do like is when Peter and James's character, Osborn's character, Harry, is back in the mansion again, and he's kind of like, that's like really dark and creepy, suspenseful type stuff, and he kind of had this like really dark conversation, you know, like, and have this like really cool fight scene. They have that fist fight scene there and there, like, you know, and I like that. That scene really worked, and it worked with the last scene. So some of it does really work really well, and the scripting for that is generally quite good. But the Venom and the Sandman's character, I thought, could have been used more. You know, they focused more on those aspects, which is good, but just, what's the point of having the other two then, you kind of thing? I thought the special effects were pretty good, to be honest, considering. The visual effects I thought was quite good. I liked the cameos. I got Bruce Cameron from Evil Dead, of course. He was in the second one, and he's in the third one as well. His character was really, really funny, and really well done. I like it. The character development between Peter Parker and Spider-Man and Harry Osborn was fantastic. There was a lot of underused and underdeveloped characters like Venom and Sandman, which they could have fixed big time. And the soundtrack I thought was pretty good, in all fairness. The ending was very, very sad, and to be honest, I will admit this, I was almost literally crying. I watched it at the cinemas, and it was a really powerful ending. The soundtrack was done well, the scene was done well. That's because I've gone for 3 movies of this character, and to have him killed off like that was pretty sad and pretty heartbreaking for me anyway. So that's probably one of the reasons. There is reasons why I do like this movie. That's probably the reason why I got this movie, to be honest. But I just felt like they could have used Venom's character, Sandman's character so much more, and there's so many things which didn't need to be there. Some things were overused, some things were just dragged out too long. But the fight scenes were entertaining enough, and there is some kind of, it does take the characters into a bit more of a darker place. So, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's one of those movies that under one of the terms I like to call the House of Cards sequel. You know, you build up a movie, a franchise, or a series of movies, such a high, you build it up to such a high level. You're about to finish it off, you're about to do like the crowning jewel kind of thing, and it all comes crashing down. That's what this movie is for me. First one was good, second one was fantastic, third one was a disappointing letdown because it seems to be the third movie of any kind of trilogy. It seems to be the weakest one of all of them, to be honest. If you think about trilogies, you know, think about the third movie, it is the weakest usually. So, you know. But I do have DVD, like I said, the special edition. I bought it when it first came out, mainly because, you know, I wanted to watch it again to get a second opinion, and I have watched it a few times. You know, it's not great. We know it's not great. It's rushed. It could have been so much more, but like I said, for the reasons that I said, those parts I do like the fight scenes between him and Spider-Man and Sandman. I like the fight scenes between Spider-Man and New Goblin, Harry Osborn, and there is some good character development in it, but it could have been so much more, in my opinion, so much more. Now the DVD I have, of course, is this. That's kind of a mislead artwork right there, but I do like it though, and it's got a really good feel to it. It's artwork here. Show you the back. Special features actually quite good. You get like a music video, Snow Patrol Signal Fire. That's actually a really great song. I love that song. Got like the making of it, like the reimagining the Green Goblin, the special effects, everything they did with it. Special effects are generally quite good, to be honest. I really like the extras. And of course the inside artwork there. There you go. I imagine the third one will probably look the best on Blu-ray, most likely, considering it's the latest one. It usually does, but yeah. So that's my take upon the Spider-Man trilogy. I hope you enjoy watching this review. I will be doing the Amazing Spider-Man review next week and giving my thoughts and opinions upon that, and linking it to all 3 movies and seeing what's different or not, etc., etc. Question: what are your thoughts and opinions about the Spider-Man trilogy? What do you think? Were you disappointed by the third movie? What is your favourite movie? I'd love to know. Comment below. And yeah, I know this video's been quite long, but you know, come to respect for me by now. So yeah, this is Andrew here from Really Well Fun Gaming TV, recommending you some quality entertainment.